real quick, I do want to say, so I had my first therapy session. Yeah. Yeah. So it was cool. I want to be transparent about this.
Was it
Um.
expensive?
Uh. No. No. Well, we'll see. I will be. I will. I'll let you know. I'll let you
Yeah,
know. But my understanding is that it's not going to be super expensive because
yeah,
there's like it would count under the quote unquote specialty uh, cost of copay. So
yeah, which is
um,
good.
yeah, because therapy can be expensive. People who
Hell yeah,
like
and
have
people don't talk
ventured
about
out.
that.
Oh
They
yeah,
be like, "Yo, go to therapy," and you be like, I'm gonna need therapy for this bill they give me. Like, what do you, what do you, what do you mean?
it's like a
From experience and from other people that I've talked to, the therapists don't pay, but they don't play about their money either.
of course not.
You're going through an intense time. It's like, yeah, that last check ain't clear. I'll talk to you later. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Yeah, so how the session ended actually was um like she said, "Oh, I got to go through the spiel. I got to go through the spiel. This is your first time in therapy, right?" So, we got cancellation fee, we got this that. So they said that's how it
nigga,
concluded. That's how
a
it concluded.
cancellation fee for therapy?
I think if you don't
Show
if
up.
you're not within the 24 hours, like
Yeah, but
if it's within 24 hours. Yeah.
okay, that's dangerous, kinda. Cause like, yo, if I'm going to therapy already, anything is possible. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, seriously. Like it's
yo, like what you mean?
and maybe they just have to say that like on paper, and maybe they have a
Yeah,
heart and will understand. I don't know. This was only
money
my
ain't got
first
no
time.
heart.
That's true too. So I've heard, but yeah, the first session was great.
That's
For
amazing,
people,
bro.
yeah, yeah, it was great for me. Super guarded. I just like tend
I can
to,
imagine, bro.
yeah.
You sitting there talking to that lady, like, so why are you here? I'm wondering that right now.
Why are you here, therapist? No, no,
Yo,
I
why are you here?
actually.
Aren't you supposed to figure that out? You know what I'm saying? Like,
What? Shouldn't you have the answers? Like I thought I was
right,
here. I
right.
was here for answers, not. No, no.
uh,
It's actually. I think this is the case for a lot of people who go into therapy and maybe are also similarly pretty guarded about, their life and just details and like privacy, things like that. But like once you have that sort of outlet, it's kind of like this platform that was just waiting for you. And then once you
yeah,
get there, oh man, you just like you say whatever because you feel this sort of permission to kind of
to
get
just
your shit
open up,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And my
So
wife and I were actually talking about doing marriage counseling for no reason, like just to make sure we stay, like the lines of communication stay
in sync and like
positive and in
yes,
sync.
yeah,
So,
that's great.
um,
That's
yeah, we're
cool.
gonna look into that. So right now, um, full disclosure, we're getting our marriage certificate. So, I mean, our marriage license, so we could from the state, so we could combine our insurance, like
Mm,
our health insurance, so it'll be cheaper and shit like that. So
okay,
yeah,
good.
because she's paying one, I'm paying one, and we have
Oh
the same
yeah.
plan, but in two separate jobs. But what's the point of that when you can pay one fee and then have your spouse covered under it? Like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Does it behoove you to like go under the insurance of, let's say, your employer versus her employer
Oh, yeah, so
or
she's private. I'm for the state. So yeah,
yours?
you kind of got more security in the state.
Yeah, yeah,
They,
yeah.
but
Cool.
yeah,
That's good. Yeah, no, this is like that's like just, you know, grown marriage shit 101. Like
yeah. I mean, because we were
you're
talking
getting
about that,
tossed into it.
and she's like, "Yeah, you think?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, why not? Like, it won't hurt. I mean, we're great at communicating now, so I could only imagine how much healthier it'll be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And so with my therapist, She left it open where there's no obligation to, set up like, oh, each week at this time we need to meet. She was like,
It's
oh,
just per session.
yeah, which is, I like that. I was under the
Yeah, because
ignorant impression that that wasn't the case.
Right. So like, if you feel like you've expressed enough now that kind of like aids you throughout the rest of like maybe 3 weeks, and you're like, you get heavy one week, and you're like, yo, I need to meet with you just to get this portion off. Like that's perfect, because it doesn't eat your pocket up, and then you don't find yourself finding shit to talk about. Like,
that would be weird. I don't want to reach that point.
And I think, and I'm really not bashing anyone, but like certain people that I talk to, it's almost like they start bringing every aspect of their life, like work, for instance, right? It almost becomes like the therapist is also a gossiper with them, like or their like girlfriend or something. Like, yeah, so like some shit you knew how to deal with prior to therapy, and you didn't need therapy for.
Right.
Now you're almost forcing yourself to seek therapy for it when you were doing a great job before. Like, like you knew how to diffuse that situation before, but now you're digging deeper and almost kind of like screwing with the system that you had prior.
Yeah, it becomes like you kind of turn it into your crutch for everything.
Everything, yeah.
So yeah, that's something.
So now you can't think.
You can't
think independently. Everything is going through what your therapist thinks and what. And again, what I think people don't discuss is like your therapist is only getting your version of events.
Yes. Right.
So like,
yeah.
So they're like, oh, here's what I think you should do. But you told them that Timmy was like an asshole, when in reality Timmy is just expecting you to do your job when it's supposed to get done. So like now your therapist is like, well, this is how you deal with a-holes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Instead of teaching you how to deal with people who want you to do your job. But
yeah. No, it's true.
You're pretty like level-headed naturally. So I think it's just good for you to have someone to bounce shit off that you wouldn't share with anybody close.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think, and also just someone outside of it all, because like I think people should seek that every now and then.
Yeah, because I think we get to the point where we have conversations. We can have, like, I can have a conversation with you without having it. Because in my head, I have the assumption of what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and then you're like, all right, cool. So you go into a conversation expecting just to bounce back and forth for the same thing. And sometimes that isn't helpful because it doesn't stretch your thinking.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't, and a lot of times we talk to people who are biased and are on our side, and it doesn't, accountability, if you don't have the right people in your corner, like, accountability doesn't exist. Like, you kill the same friend that's like, yo, they are wrong, and you're always amazing. When in reality, it's like, yo, you suck.
Yeah, and they're also like, and to their credit, right? In a way, they're looking after you, so they wanna like be in your corner,
like soften the blow.
Yeah. So I
sugarcoat
get that,
stuff,
but,
and
but
then you got a friendship full of diabetes, and now it's over because now someone's foot got cut off.
Yes. That was graphic, but yes.
Sorry.
People getting amputated? What the hell? But sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, no, I definitely am glad I got my feet wet on it, and like I'll continue to do it,
Now, what demographic is your, like, what's your background of your therapist?
She's
okay. It's a she.
Yeah, she is
cisgendered female, right?
Yeah, and she's like light skinned. I don't know what her background is per se.
Oh, okay.
But
so she's like not Asian.
No,
or
she's
like
not Asian.
Pacific Islander.
No,
it's like okay,
which is fine.
Which is yeah.
Well, according to you, it's amazing. Because based on our last conversation.
You know how I feel about it. Yeah.
Right.
It's just like somebody So you checked all my boxes. Like, she's not Asian and not a
Yeah.
dude. So like, she's completely like out of this.
Well, something
Uh,
I was kind of observing was right, the like she has to retain, like a therapist has to retain a lot of information. Very
that's why they
impressive.
write. Like, that's why they're literally just like writing and like literally just trying to
Yes,
capture everything.
and granted, it was a virtual, so I don't see necessarily her taking notes. So I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
you are incredible. Like, you remember everything. Like I said that a while
Now,
ago.
can they record the sessions?
I think so, and I'm fine with that.
Because that would be
Um,
awesome. Like, I think even in person, you should be able to record the sessions just so if a therapist missed something, they can go back. It's like reviewing game tape. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
right before
exactly.
the session, you're like, okay, this is what they were dealing with. Let me see if I missed something here, because I don't want you to just half-ass it and be like, so what was your mom's name again?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That,
it's like, uh,
was it your mom? Was it your who?
right,
Who was the one you had a problem with?
right. You said no. What was that? Okay, yeah, no.
Right.
That was actually your session. That was somebody else. I don't even know a Sonia. like,
Sonia did not try to kill me.
right.
That would be crazy. Yeah, I'm sure that happens. Does
Oh
that
yeah.
happen? Because
I mean,
it's a human. It's a
it's a
human
human
retaining all
thing.
of these accounts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But I'm
um,
sure they balance themselves. Like, I wouldn't suspect a therapist takes on more than a certain amount of clients at one time.
that's fair. Yeah, I would hope so.
Because I mean, that is scary. Because if you think about the amount of people, the amount of people that like lawyers have to take on,
Hmm.
and then you think if therapists took on the same workload, it's like, okay, I just made sure that they survived another week. Let's just figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
Any thoughts of suicide by any chance? No? All right.
We are
Okay. At least we're good there.
right. We're good for another week.
I hope that, man. No, that would ruin my image of therapists,
Now,
like
guys,
them
we
being
are
about
just
the money.
we're just playing. We're not.
Yeah, yeah,
like
no,
we're
we're
not.
just playing.
Yeah, we're just
Funny.
joshing,
Yeah.
as the people say.
Good
No,
times
that's
too.
great, bro. I'm glad to hear that. We're gonna get on that train soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's not like you've gone to therapy before.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it was funny enough. It was imposed. Like, it was like, yeah, it was like anger management fourth grade. like yeah,
for
it
real?
was like yeah.
Wow.
I was super aggressive. Like, if it was just crazy. Like, I was aggressive.
Okay.
Not to harm people, but like verbally, it's just like
I can
F
see that.
this and you ain't shit. Like,
I can see
yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
well. I mean, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, like that's why like we all deal with fucking demons
You
and
do,
shit. So
yeah. You learn to
yeah.
cope, and then I think the idea is like to learn to not just learn to cope, but learn to like find where the origin of the anger and actually confront it. Because I think just coping is like just dealing with a tumor. Like, you have the tumor, but you're just learning how to live with it. It's still uncomfortable. It's still like, but to actually like find the tumor and get rid of that shit is like
Hmm.
that's the goal.
Yeah, because like ultimately you want to be able to flourish, not just like deal with some shit
Yeah,
existing in your life that's like a
right.
nuisance. So
And that's why with people, like, it's
similarly,
yo,
yeah.
literally, if I can't flourish, I'm not just gonna deal with like be uncomfortable with a person in my life because I'm supposed to be, or they have this title, or it's been 1,000 years. Like, sorry, no, I just don't have the space or the room to deal with that, like or whatever that is.
You'd be surprised how small a list is for in terms of like one's true obligations.
Hmm.
right? Like,
I think I shared last podcast, like, I was talking about some things with my wife, and then she's like, how many of those things are you married to? And how many
mm-hmm.
of those people are you married to? And I'm like, oh, yeah, just you.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
so it's really all that I got to really care about. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. You know, and if the person, and if people outside of your obligation, like, really care about you, then they will
they
respect that.
respect it.
Yeah, and then they let it rock. You know, so
Right.
pretty simple.
It's pretty
If you ask
simple,
me,
you would think.
you would think, yeah. I'm
But
saying,
the entitlement that some people have is and I use like capital ridiculous. Like it is like
yeah,
crazy, but